Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Well, you really know you're scraping the bottom of the barrel when Deutsche Grammophon Eloquence releases the complete recordings of Otto Gerdes. Yes, or Gerdes, as we used to call him in the biz. Yeah, Otto Gerdes. I mean, talk about a cocaine hippo. Something that you do. Well, I wouldn't say this is the cocaine hippo. It's not the box. It was the original recordings that were the cocaine hippo. Something they did because they could, not because they had to or should. Who was Otto Gerdes? Well, Otto Gerdes was actually a very serious, well-trained, decent workaday musician. But more importantly, he was Herbert von Karajan's recording producer for most of the 1960s. I think he was until like 1970, actually, or close enough. You know, the story, the gossipy story, which is quite thoroughly recounted in the very good booklet note for this series, is that he made, he was a conductor too. I mean, he wanted to be a conductor. He made a few records, and he had the nerve, after making a recording, of referring to Herbert von Karajan as Herr Kollege. And Karajan, who was nobody's Kollege, certainly not Otto Gerdes, stopped working with him after that, and he was dismissed from Deutsche Grammophon. He only lived to be in his, I think, early 60s. He did not have a very long life. 1920 to 1989. Yeah, okay, so he lived to be 69. He was a fine, they say at times, electrifying conductor. I don't know when he was ever electrifying. There's nothing here that's electrifying. High Fidelity singled him out, and I used to write for High Fidelity, as a musician of integrity and powerful temperament. And he received critical praise for his luminous sound and trenchant interpretation of something or other. Well, okay, let's be very, very honest, because we have to be. There is nothing here that you cannot get done better by others, but there are some accompanimental tasks that he completed with some very famous singers that are worth hearing, although they may appear in other singer boxes or other collections and compilations. So let's just go through it, and we shall see what we shall see, because there are only, how many discs are there here? 11 CDs. It's not such a huge set. He didn't do that much for DG, and that's probably a good thing. First, there is a lovely disc of trumpet concertos, where he's perfectly adequate as an accompanist to Pierre Thibault trumpet, and with the Bamberg Symphony, and we've got trumpet concertos by Torelli, Haydn, Telemann, and Leopold Mozart, arranged by Max Seifert. There you go. And the big work, of course, is the Haydn Trumpet Concerto, which is a screaming masterpiece. And they're all nicely performed in a modernized Baroque kind of way. So, fine. Then we have, with the Berlin Philharmonic, Dvorak's New World Symphony. A performance, well, you can understand why nobody much cared about this recording. It was made in 1965. Deutsche Grammophon sat on some of these for a while because, well, for obvious reasons. I mean, this was done in 65, but DG had New World Symphonies very shortly thereafter by Karajan with the Berlin Philharmonic and Kubelik with the Berlin Philharmonic. So who needed this? Especially since it's easily the least interesting of the performances in question. It's direct and unfussy and not 100% precise and you just flat-footed. I mean, period, exclamation point. That's that. CD4, well, he also did the Brahms Fourth. Oh, it's an old-fashioned Brahms Fourth. The notes claim that he was operating in the tradition of Hermann Abendroth and the, that crowd, the mining and court orchestra. In a way, he was. There are moments where his conducting is heavily inflected. The very last chords of the Brahms Fourth, da 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 bum, it's rhetorical. Unfortunately, the rhetoric has to be justified by what comes before. He just was not a tremendously exciting conductor. I mean, it's just the way he was. I mean, is it a terrible Brahms fourth? No, but Karajan made 50 or 60 versions of it. Joachim had already done it. The list goes on and on. And so, yes, you will hear things in this performance that maybe other people don't do as much. But does it matter? I mean, on the whole, well, no, not really. You do get a very good Meistersinger prelude. He was a good Wagner conductor, actually. It has lift. It has schwung. And you want lots of schwungitude when you do Wagner, especially the Meistersinger prelude. So that was nice. Then here was the most famous record he made, probably. The Vagner Symphony in C, Faust Overture, Rienzi Overture, a bit of Infernum Land from Lohengrin, a little aria there, and let's see, what do we got here von Weber, some bit from Die Freischütz. Nein, länger trage ich nicht durch die Welden, durch die Auen. Yeah, you can hum it to yourself. And let's see, Cornelius van Dyck is the tenor, and it's the Bamberg Symphony again with, and Gerdes, this was like the only recording of the Wagner Symphony in C. It's not a particularly good symphony, and it's not a particularly fabulous recording of this not particularly good symphony. But that was it. I remember whizzing through the bins, looking at the Deutsche Grammophon stuff, saying, oh, what's this guy? What is that? So he had at least some, what you might call proprietary repertoire. I mean, the Rienzi and Faust overtures are sort of four square, but they get the job done, and it's okay. That's that. Then we've got this disc of Hugo Wolf, possibly the most interesting disc. It's got the Italian Serenade, and rather stodgy Italian Serenade, I think, but it's okay. And Penthesilea, the tone poem Penthesilea, which is about, an Amazon warrior princess and everybody dies. It's the usual thing. And then orchestrations, actually, of Wolf Lieder, sung by Evelyn Lear and Thomas Stewart with the Wiener Symphoniker. I find this to be a valuable disc. I mean, now all of this stuff has been recorded much more frequently, even Penthesilea. But at the time, I mean, none of this stuff was available. It's still interesting, and it's great to hear Lear and Stewart. So that's fun. Then let's see. We have overtures, intermezzis, and ballet music. If there was ever a guy who should not do ballet music, it was Otto Gerdes. But the interesting thing about this, because you've got the Wagner Prelude to Act 1 of Meistersinger. Oh, gee, where did we hear that before? Oh, yeah, it's on disc 2 or whatever. Okay. Schmidt, Notre Dame Intermezzo, Verdi's Forza del Destino Overture, the Pagliacci Intermezzo, the Cavalleria Rusticana Intermezzo, Bizet's Carmen Suite, the Magic Flute Overture, the Aida Ballet Music, and the Weber Freischütz Overture. Now, these are with the Leipzig Radio Symphony and the Berlin Radio Symphony. Some of these things haven't been released before, by the way. The interesting thing about this disc is that it sort of copies a disc that Karajan went on to do twice. His famous opera overture and intermezzi collection. Remember that? He did one for EMI, one for DG, with virtually the same stuff. So it's kind of funny to see this thing there, and it's enjoyable. It really is. You can't like laugh at it, and I don't. Then we have excerpts from Otello. Oh, look at Otello! Goodness gracious, he looks like I don't know, who's that actor on The Sopranos. The Jewish guy, the one who plays Heshy. Yes, that's Otello. He's supposed to be in blackface there. This is not working at all. It's in German with Wolfgang Windgassen, Teresa Stratas as Desdemona, Fischer-Dieskau as Iago. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to hear. It really is. I mean, and Teresa Stratas, when she was like 12. It's pretty cool. And then there's the Eugene Onegin excerpts, auf Deutsch, of course, with Fischer-Dieskau, Evelyn Lear, Brigitte Fassbender, Fritz Wunderlich, Marty Talvala. I mean, these are all young, fresh voices. These are worth hearing just for the singing. And Gerdes accompanies well. He really does. But then the big thing, the big deal here is this. Tannhäuser, 3 discs of it. This was also his big production. He got to do Tannhäuser, which was really a big deal. I mean, Elizabeth is Birgit Nilsson. Now, she did not really have the voice, the ideal voice for Elizabeth. I mean, she could eat Tannhäuser for lunch. I mean, let's face it. But she's, God knows the notes are there. Let's see. And Venus. Oh, Venus is also Birgit Nilsson. See, there you go. She did both of them simultaneously. That's what's really cool. Let's see, and who's Tannhäuser is Wolfgang Windgassen, of course, and Theo Adam is Hermann, and Wolfram von Eschenbach is Fischer Dieskau, and Horst Leubenthal. This is the original 1845 version, without the Paris editions. So, I mean, it was a valuable set in its day, and again, you know, it's a wonderful memento of some really terrific singers, really absolutely terrific singers, and so that's fun. And and it comes, like I said, with a very, very nice booklet, with extensive notes and a long apologia about why, this guy was really better than everybody thought he was, but he wasn't. I mean, he just wasn't better than everybody thought he was. He was pretty average, and that's okay. I mean, collectors like me, psychos, will collect because that's what we do, and the Tannhäuser is worth hearing, and especially to have Venus and Elizabeth sung by the same person. I mean, really, what's the difference between them? Only the difference between a virgin and a slut, right? Well, it's the same thing. And, so there it is. My eloquence, it's a collector's item. What can I say? It's a collector's item. And if you want to hear some really lousy Dvorak, well, the Dvorak's not good. And, decent Wagner and some fun operatic accompanimental stuff, well, sure. Go for it. But the rest of us can, I think, take a pass and feel pretty good about that decision too. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me, and take care.